So
People are going to look so much into this.
yeah, which I can see happening as well.
Oh, yeah, sure. You could do that, too.
Whoever did that could currently be, like, watching this and, like,
it's an artist who doesn't even work there anymore. I just put this in as a joke and then quit.
You fools. All right, so Gates of Oblivion, 2 days away, and we still don't know where we are going, what is going to happen. Is Dagon going to be the villain, or are we going to see Meridia as the villain finally, or anything of the sorts? The most three main zone locations people argue about are Skingrad, Bravil, and Leavin, plus Deadlands, obviously. So what do you think? Do you think we'll see Dagon as the villain, just like, Molag Bal or the three Daedric princes I forgot in Somerset? Or are we gonna have him as sort of a potential, just an interested party? Not as villain, not as ally per se, but just an interested party. And are we gonna see Meridia as the villain finally? Because it's been hinted for so long.
I would love that. Because I really want Meridia to once again not be aligned with what we want. Because she seems like such a great villain when she doesn't line up with what you're going for. And like you said, there's so much hinting at it. So I'm kind of hoping that Dagon, whatever his involvement, but it's like similar to the Daedric trifecta that we dealt with, basically that started at base game, which the Meridia thing has basically started since base game as well. Like, okay, we're back to a Daedric incursion. That's what I personally want for the story because I like that stuff when I'm an overpowered monster. So it's like, yeah, let's get some of that involved. I would be a big fan of that personally. If it wasn't just Dagon, get a few others involved, and then, I don't know, Hermaeus Moore can come in and just save the day and be the greatest ever.
So, I think... So it's a year-long journey, right? I think in the first dungeon pack, it's going to have some dungeon that is us going into the Deadlands, getting the sigil. I know a little while back I said that it was going to be the trial, but now I'm thinking it's going to be the first dungeon pack is going to involve a sigil and all of that, going in and closing an Oblivion gate. I think that's going to be a dungeon. I think that the first dungeon pack is going to lead you to believe that Mehrunes Dagon is the aggressor, but then whenever the actual expansion comes, there will be a twist at some point in it, where you realize that Meridia is actually your true enemy, and Dagon may not be actively helping you, but he's not exactly the one you're after. And I feel this way because of not only the little hint we got in Somerset, but also as recent as Greymoor, whenever you do, and spoilers for Greymoor, whenever you do the quest at Mount Kilcreath, her cultists are talking about how she abandoned them.
Oh, yeah.
So she's off doing something else, not protecting her people. And she even let her shrine be overrun by vampires and desecrated again. Like, apparently that's just a theme for her, that she seems to care so much about Mount Kilcreath, but she just lets anybody just trounce on in there and do whatever they want with it. But they went on and on about how could Our Lady abandon us? And it's because she's cooking up something, and I don't think Mehrunes Dagon's going to be our worst enemy. He may not exactly be helpful, but I don't think he's the main guy. I think it is going to end up being Meridia. He may even end up helping us, but I do think that they're going to want to make this a twist. So they're going to lead us to believe that Mehrunes Dagon is the evil one. And I think that the fact that Mehrunes Dagon may be wanting to help some people could be causing a rift within the Daedra that follow him, and maybe that's what the coins mean. from the cultists. So there's 3 different coins, and there's 3 different factions of Daedra that follow him. The Zivali, and there were a few others.
Yep.
I think that maybe some of them are like really upset that he's trying to be helpful, and others are kind of with him on this. Maybe the third one's kind of neutral, and this is causing kind of a war within Dagon's little family. These are my wild speculations. I'm making this up as I go along, but it seems to make sense to me.
Dagon is Daedric Prince of Domination, right? The dude
Right.
loves to rule, like that's his thing. And Meridia has been screwing over so many Daedric princes over the last few years. Like he screwed over Molag Bal, he screwed over Clavicus Vile, Nocturnal, and Mephala. So she's been going around messing up the plans of other Daedric princes while appearing good, but we all know the quote-unquote good Daedra are not in fact good, but they just have sort of similar interests to what is perceived good in Tamriel, like Meridia being light and hating undead, and therefore people thinking that Meridia is good. So I wonder if Dagon, like if she messes up the plans of Dagon as well at some point in Oblivion, and Dagon is like, you know what, I'm the Daedric Prince of Domination, and you messing up my plans or preventing me from ruling or doing whatever I want to do is a problem. And we kind of know the Daedric Princes don't really engage themselves like in wars or anything. So you don't see Dagon just grabbing an axe and going after Meridia. But they always have agents in Tamriel doing their bidding as their champions. And that... I keep forgetting that Daedra's name. The friendly Daedra. Well, I mean, I say friendly, but, you know.
Azura?
No. Yes, Lyrinth, yeah.
The Dremora.
Yeah, the NPC. Yeah, Dremora.
Okay.
The one that we got the letter from.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Lyrinth.
So, her reaching out to us could be that, they basically are looking for a champion for Dagon to mess up Meridia in return, finally. I hope so.
So, all right. Here's kind of at least to go along with that. Since Dagon is the Daedric Prince of change, destruction, and revolution, one of the things that...
Actually, why didn't any of you correct me on that? Daedric Prince of Domination is Molag Bal, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Dagon is destruction.
Yeah.
Domination,
right.
Whatever. Oh, I knew what you meant.
Molag Bal.
I guess it didn't even click, 'cause I knew what you meant. Yeah, so the thing about Dagon is it's pretty much irrelevant as to who is in charge, as long as he's overthrowing whoever is in charge. So to your point, Meridia has been kind of furthering her influence more and more by screwing over the others. Maybe she's gotten a little too big for her own britches at this point, so to speak. And it's to the point where Dagon's like, okay, maybe whatever plot she finally gets to go in motion, because clearly there's a long game here. My guess would be is if she makes her play, starts to pull power, but there's too much to it, that could trigger Dagon to be like, no, we're not doing any of that. Like, you can't have that much power, because every time this will start to touch on my tales with my tragedy of Battlespire later on, but he is the antagonist in that game. He's also the antagonist in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. And these situations in both of those scenarios related to the human threat that they were overthrowing, where it was the septum line was too established. And when you had originally Jaeger Tharn trying to overthrow it, he went along with that because it was going to overthrow the status quo, was the idea. If there's something that's a status quo developing, this would theoretically be his time to flip the script, so to speak, and try to mess everything up, whatever that may be. And if it happens to be Meridia, well, that wouldn't be good because that's somebody being too established, and that's not what he likes.
Yeah.
But to that point, not you as in you or me, but if you could utilize him since he doesn't have really an agenda of his own other than causing things to collapse, you could kind of almost use him as a weapon, even if it's not his intent, because if you can convince him that something needs to be overthrown, kind of like Jaeger Tharn does, with, Elder Scrolls 1 into 2 into Battlespire, that whole region, that's like, he becomes almost like a weapon rather than an individual himself. So there's a lot of reasons he could play a part in this, not just him being, hey, I'm here to mess stuff up. Check out my huge shoulders. So.
I mean, when you think about it, Dagon is one of the more influential Daedra as well, both in terms of like raw power and his influence on Tamriel.
Right,
like he has
a lot of what he's done has had great impact.
Yeah,
I mean, depending upon how you look at it, you could also kind of attribute some things to him that maybe shouldn't be attributed to him, where it's like, oh, well, this happened.
Just looking at I mean, you have, for example, followers of Sanguine, like, right? They are just the priests here and there, cults here.
Yeah.
Dagon has an entire, mythic dawn that
the mythic dawn
massive. It's a massive cult compared to, some others. He has great influence compared to the rest of the Daedra.
Like Pixie said, he's also got the 3 different clans of individual Daedra and Dremora that basically work under him as his legions. It's like he's definitely much more of the war general type than some of the other Daedras.
Oh, that's kind of his thing as well. He's
for sure.
He's a warmonger Daedra.
Mm-hmm. Make stuff literally just to kill it.
Yeah. And I will have to bring it up on my phone because otherwise Discord maybe I'll lose the cameras. But so Doc from Vanquish Guild actually brought something to my attention as well that I hadn't paid attention before. So apparently Dagon was created. So I didn't look this up, but I wonder if you guys know anything about it. So he said Dagon was created to be good, the Daedra of hope to help fight in a time long before now, but something happened and you kind of know him as he is. Do you know anything about this? Dagon being created for good originally.
So I've heard that as well. I don't actually know where exactly that's from, but I do know about that. And when you think about it, when you look at, I mean, this is further along the lines, revolution and destruction, a lot of times that's like, okay, well, destruction, that's not great. Like, oh, you're blowing up. But the concept of revolution and even combined with destruction isn't necessarily always bad when it's the destruction of something bad. You had the Alien Empire that just oppressed everybody and tortured them. Well, in that case, the destruction of their empire and the revolution of the human races is a good thing, which is directly what Dagon would want. So it's not like he is basically like hyper neutral, like almost like chaotically neutral. It's pretty irrelevant what he's doing as long as he's doing it. So if he overthrows something like a dynasty that everybody loves, okay, that's bad. But then if it's just like a society of torture and mistreatment, that's good. So it's just like it's really all the perspective of the situation. So him being a potential hope is absolutely something that could be, depending upon how you look at it, something that I could definitely see for sure.
Maybe
And-
he will crush the Ebonheart Pact.
No.
No, we
So
are the
Mary
good
Dominion
faction. Well, I guess we are winning. Oh,
can-
shit.
Ha!
No.
I mean, no. Our colors align with Dagon's colors, so we are good. If anything,
okay.
it's
But we-
the...
Because I was going to say, otherwise, everyone lay down your arms and let the AD take over. Just real quick. And then we blow them up.
And as Gadget mentioned, so
Yep.
he is also the Lord of Ambition. So revolution,
Ambition.
energy, and ambition, right? Change, revolution, energy, ambition. And Meridia has been getting very ambitious as well. If you
Yep.
think about it, she's been
For sure.
right? So, and another thing Duck mentioned is that I had never paid attention to this because I've done main story of the game like several years ago.
Yeah.
The hooded figure that if you don't start the game in the original tutorial, aka don't get stabbed and get your soul snatched and everything like that, a hooded figure shows up. She's like, my benefactor wants to talk to you. And if you go, or rather when you go, it's basically a warm cold trap. And that original you getting snatched and stabbed and getting your soul stolen, scene plays. That's the thing. So hooded figure basically is what gets you into the warm cult and gets your soul stolen and starts the whole original main story of Elder Scrolls Online. And apparently, in the pages of UESP, unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, the hooded figure has the exact same face and voice actor as Meridia, the groundskeeper.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I did
apparently,
not know that.
Me neither, because I never really interacted with the hooded figure. But apparently, because I also don't level any alt characters, so I just missed it. But apparently, the groundskeeper, aka Meridia, or rather Meridia's avatar in the Hallowed City, is
Right.
exact same face and exact same voice as the hooded figure, who now delivers you to a warm cold trap that starts the main story of Elder Scrolls Online, where you get your soul stolen and everything like that. And
Interesting.
and when you defeat Molag Bal, this is 6 years old. I'm sorry if these are spoilers, but
This is, I think, a little past the statute of limitations.
Yeah, we can't have
We've
a show
spoiled-
without talking about these anymore.
Yeah.
So when you defeat Molag Bal in the original story, and you get this massive amount of souls released from Molag Bal's and like the Plain Mole and Cold Harbor, and you find yourself in the colored rooms because Meridia is there, and Meridia is like, I grabbed your soul before it got, released and lost, whatever. Out of hundreds of thousands of souls Molag Bal had gathered, Meridia was like, yeah, I just grabbed yours, here's your soul back.
Yeah.
And Duck brought to, mentioned that, how does she have your soul out of all that? Like, can she do that? And mixed with the fact that the hooded figure is exactly the same as Groundskeeper, and she is the one who delivers you to get your soul snatched in the first place, so on and so forth. And when you kill, quote unquote kill, you don't really kill him, but basically destroy his avatar at the moment.
Yeah.
When you kill Molag Bal, he says like, haha, this is also part of my plans, because I am the Daedric Prince of, schemes and planning and domination and things like that. So you defeating me is also part of my plans. So if you, I don't know how crazy Zas would go with the twists, right?
I don't
But
know.
in my
I
ideal
really-
world,
I really want him to go all in.
Molag Bal and Meridia would be working together from the start.
That
Would be my ideal world.
That'd be amazing.
And Meridia bringing you, getting you involved into the entire thing so you can destroy, or quote unquote think that you destroyed Molag Bal's avatar. All of this would be an elaborate plan by Molag Bal and Meridia together. And they would be basically going around screwing other Daedra up until their eventual plans, and finally Dagon gets involved, and he's like, hold up. You guys have been scheming around, building up influence, but I have 4 arms and amazing shoulders, and I'm gonna put a stop to this. That would be my ideal world.
It would definitely be playing the long game, just like a certain someone who, brought on an Aldmeri Dominion supporter
That's
a little while before, making
all
a
comes
high elf
back
tune, and also
this.
playing a high elf in D&D, and also
That
admitting
was
his
for
love for
charity,
Queen
and the fact
Irene.
that you just threw that to my face, wow.
Again, this is why the plot twists seem to just coincide. Our show as well as the game.
But I think that's actually really plausible. I didn't know that it was the same character model and same voice actress.
I mean, why else
it would
would you
make
do that?
sense.
So
Why else
yeah,
would
that
you do
does seem
that?
very coincidental. And the other thing Gadget Hazard actually put, my favorite quote from Molag Bal, is there are worse masters than me, much worse.
There you go.
And
Oh, God.
That's always been one of the quotes. When I heard that, I was like, the hell's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
And they've never really addressed that quote the same way that there's been a couple that you had mentioned, Ark, about like, this is all part of my plan. And it's always like, I was like, okay, so we know there's something more than just him being a douche. Like, and we've gotten little tidbits of them, well, not like any of the Daedric princes, a little bit of working together, a little bit of screwing each other over, and it kind of jumps around all over the place. So it's like, man, I would be really all in if I want them to go just wacky with the twists and have like, by the way, this has been a hyper long game of writing. Like,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
Lord.
I mean,
because the
this is
pieces
Elder
are there.
Scrolls. Like, it lives for long-term writing. Like, nothing in the Elder Scrolls universe is generally just, like short-term. Okay, yeah, this is a short story, whatever. It's a 25-year-old, or rather 26-year-old universe now with massive amounts of writing. So I wouldn't be surprised. And Slap says, like, character model and the voice seems super coincidental, but that's like using Groundskeeper as the hooded figure.
I was about to say, it would be coincidental if it was like, oh, by the way, there's a shopkeeper on the left side of Bankarai who looks like Meridia. It's like, okay, well, that's probably not her master plan.
Yeah,
right.
The fact that they kind of match up and are both so storyline specific, like that, I don't know, that seems a little more out of, is that coincidence that they happen to pick the person that murders you is also the person who guides you in Cold Harbor?
Yeah, that's
could be, but that seems
I mean, either
like
they did that as a
big
tease,
coincidence.
like
or they're just
they were
screwing
like-
with us.
Yeah. So
People are gonna look so much into this.
yeah, which I can see happening as well.
Oh yeah, sure, you could do that too.
Whoever did that could currently be like watching this and like,
It's an artist who doesn't even work there
fools.
anymore. I just put this in as a joke and then quit.
You fools. You have.
It definitely seems plausible, though, especially since over the last couple of years, they've just been kind of hinting more and more that Meridia is not this helpful person that we're led to believe she is in the main story, especially with this most recent thing in Greymore. Now, I can't think of any incidents from Markarth where Meridia is specifically mentioned, but I haven't done all the side quests and everything there. But I know
she's not really but I mean, she also doesn't have a temple in Markarth,
right,
and the Reach the way she does literally have a temple in Western Skyrim,
which she's just strangely absent from,
Yeah. I mean, the most obvious, like, proof against Meridia we had was in Somerset, like, at the end with the book, which wasn't even part of actually completing the quest.
Yes.
Like, that book was not in any quest objectives, nothing like that. You only got to that book if you were listening to the guards talk about a weird book just spawning out of nowhere like it was nothing. I guess it's just another day for Altimers, I don't know. Or if you just randomly went up the stairs and saw the book. Like that's the only two ways that you would find that book, because it's never in a quest marker or anything like that. And in that book, Darian mentions that Meridia is evil.
So that's what I was kind of trying to get at in a roundabout sort of way. So in Somerset, like, it's something that's easily missable. Like, I don't think I ever found the book myself. I've just heard you guys talk about it and took you at your word. But it's very in your face in Greymore. Like, it's part of the main quest that you have to help these people. And they're talking about how could Meridia betray us? How could she leave us and abandon us? So the fact that it started out so subtle a couple of years ago, and it's becoming less and less subtle as time goes by, makes me think that we're going to see something soon.
I want to fight Meridia. How dare she, like, make Darian suffer? That's the only thing.
So this is going to be a bit of a stretch.
Meridia's realm has no baked bread.
He's stuck in that golden armor. He can't just go naked like he always does. It's what a life.
Forced to wear a shirt.
Yeah.
So this is
no complex carbs. Real torture.
This is going to seem like a bit of a stretch, but you know that house that came out, that was a limited time thing not too long ago, of Shalador's realm?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Place looks amazing.
You want to know something that I noticed about it that looks amazing? It's shockingly similar to the way the background of the colored rooms looks.
Oh, yes. The weird,
actually,
mystic...
doesn't really. Colored rooms are super colorful.
I just
like, if you go into Depths of Malatar, colored rooms are like orange, yellow, purple, red, blue. It's bright. But
So
Shalador's is more like
purple and
purple,
blue.
isn't it?
I remember purple and blue overwhelmingly from the colored
I need to
rooms.
Google.
Yeah, now I want to go back to Shadow. Luckily, one of my guild's crafting places is, what do you call it?
No, actually, you were right,
Shalador's.
Pixie. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Never mind. I guess in my head, I just added colors to it.
You know what
Yeah, I
I'm
was about to say,
wondering
it's
if
purple
what
and
you're
blue.
thinking of? The ground in Depths of Malatar is like bright red. So I wonder if that's the color that you're thinking of more than the like weird sky in the background type of deal.
I don't know. I just
That's
in my
the only thing I'm
head,
thinking of.
I remember a lot more colors than just purplish,
Weird
bluish
spacey
tones.
wacko stuff. Yeah.
I wonder, was it in the main story that it was more colorful?
Well, you briefly when she
I
saves
remember
you,
a lot of
quote
purple there
unquote,
too.
Yeah, there's that brief period where you talk to her in the colored rooms, and I kind of remember that being like a kaleidoscope and being like, wow, my character's on a lot of acid.
I remember purple, blue, and yellow from the end of the main quest.
Yeah, in the main quest, it was even less colorful now that I'm looking at screenshots. They actually
Oh,
got
really?
better with their shaders and everything. This is just plain. Yeah, I don't know. I guess in my head, I just added colors. I just made it fancier. Nah, man.
But that might actually
Illusion
be a
broken.
hint. Because why the hell else would they... I mean, I guess just because Shalador's a Nord, but I thought it was interesting that they'd bring something from Shalador back, and then it's in a realm that's not Ivea, and it's very purple. And there's more and more hints that Meridia's up to something. It's getting more and more overt.
I would love to get Shalador back into the story, honestly. So that's one thing.
Shalador on your side against Meridia with Mehrunes Dagon.
That would be lovely. But
So
I don't know.
I know it's a stretch, but the color scheme is there.
Yeah, the color scheme might just be that they got lazy. And they just wanted
Or
to
it
give
could
that
just be the
magic-y
Oblivion
vibes.
vibe. Yeah, it could just be
Yeah.
the Oblivion slash, magic, as you put it, like a magic-y vibe.
But I
type
would
of
love
deal.
to. I would love to get Shalador back into the story, like, because we only got him during the Mage's quest, Mage's Guild storyline, and he was a great character. Sheogorath is obviously a great character. We have all these other characters like returning constantly, right? We get references. We are now getting the Bolzmer
get
from.
Evely.
We are now
Evely
getting
Sharp Arrow.
Evely Sharp Arrow. Who else did we get? We got a whole bunch of like returning characters. I don't really remember. We
He
got
was an
Darian
Argonian.
back.
It was probably not returning, but
Naryu's
got-
been around a couple times.
Yeah, Naryu's
Raz
been
is-
around. We got all the companions back
Yeah.
several times over, actually. So, Shalidor also making a return as a character, as an NPC in one of the storylines would be really, really fun because he's not dead. Well, I mean, he is dead, but his soul is always around because he managed to somehow just make it stick to Tamriel. And it would be fun to have Shalidor back. It would be fun to have Sheogorath back too, but I don't think they will do that. Because knowing Sheogorath, he would really not care about Dagon, Moloch Ball, Meridia,
just
none of
freaking
those
out.
shenanigans, so...
Yeah.
if so, it'd
Well-
likely be a side quest, just like it is in Elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say when he goes all skooma cat, it's like that's
So yeah. We just want to
Now
fight
we'll find
Meridia
out.
as a crew, I
Right.
guess.
so the moral of the
Yes.
story is that everybody wants to mess up Meridia.
Yeah.
Bring it on.